Banished. This is just, the cow is going crazy for it. This is just a little overview of what everything does, what to do. I'll just pause this so I don't die. And how to play Banished, just the basics. What you want to start off with doing is kind of like if you ever play Settlers, they're kind of trying to, you gotta, I don't like my terrain. I've played a little bit of this. It's a very difficult game, very difficult. I'm playing on easy with Disasters Off, which I recommend for every new beginner. And I think a lot of people go, oh, I can do this, it's so easy. It's actually not, it's a management of resources. So first what you want to do is you want to pull up, no, you don't want to pull up that one, that's useful but not yet. This one should always be up there. Basically what you want to do, this is your logs, which is the trees, and for the start of it, most labourers will just cut down the trees. Second, what you need is firewood. Firewood is all these things up here are very useful. I'll go through the main ones, which are going to kill you if you don't. Firewood is one of those. In winter, you have to make sure you have it fully stored, and as your population grows, you'll have to increase the maximum, which I can show you later. The amount of food stored is another important thing, yeah, so food stored is probably the main thing that gets everyone. If you don't have your food stored, winter comes along and everyone dies. Now what I do normally is I try to find, this is a very horrible place, I think I like putting it across a river and making a big farm area, which I might do up here. So kind of first of all is planning it out. Now what you want to do is plan out exactly how you want to do this. Because there is multiple times where you'll plan something out and then not have enough room for it. So I'll probably end up making the city here, bringing down some stuff down here. That's a very good area to farm. So what I want to do first of all is I want to make a pathway. Now this is your path, so you've got your brick path, or your dirt path. Now they move a bit faster on the brick, but for now, we don't care about that. Now I went ahead on the first go, oh that's not good, on the first go, and I decided I'll make everything, I'll just make this whole area nice and beautiful, which is not what you want to do not do that. Now you'll find also at the start that you'll find also at the start, this is going to work for me, you'll find that you'll have a lot of problems with storage. That's simply because you're going to be chopping down a whole lot of stuff, so make a stockpile, a little stockpile. Just a little one, not a massive one, and it probably will never be used again, especially in this area, so you might want to make a stockpile. We also want to make a small farm, not a big one, just whatever we've got. I don't know what we've got, so let's just delete this path, because I don't want that there. Yeah, so a small little one farm. The other thing you've got to remember with this game is that farms are the most important thing, but fishermen are going to make you hold you out through the winter. So I always make one fisherman, and you'll increase that as the population grows to meet the demands. Also, another thing I'll do is I'll make a pasture. I like chickens because they give you eggs straight away, and so that's food. But excuse me, they give you eggs straight from the start, whereas cows just give you leather, which is pretty useless at the start because you don't need to make clothes, but it is there, and that's great. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to plot this place out. I'll explain everything. So this is your houses. Now, starting off building wood houses is great. It's a great way to do it because you can upgrade them to stone houses later, and you will find that you're going to need them. But don't build too fast, but build at a recommended pace. Now, another thing that you want to be doing is making a schoolhouse very soon in the game. You want to make sure you have this schoolhouse set up, because what happens is they actually train the kids or the students how to be more productive, and with a small amount of people, being productive is exactly what you want. You want to be productive. You want so that's a big main one. Later on, you'll make 2 schools, so if one of your people die, you can still have your school. You've also got here your storage barn, which is this thing. What you do with your storehouses is you just make them so the further out you expand, make them go out that far. Like make a storage pile out really fast so people don't have to walk back all the way here to do it. Just eliminates so much walking around and doing nothing. The next thing you want to do is a well is pretty useless if there's no disasters, but bear that in mind that that's what will be needed. A town hall is very useful because you can get extra people, and just when everyone's dying, you can get a whole bunch of people that are coming for you. A chapel, not so important, but does increase your happiness, but at the start it's not as useful. Maybe in the harder modes, yes. A cemetery, useful for when everyone starts dying, which they all start dying of old age. Um, Now you've got your trees. Trees are great, they yield so much fruit, or whatever you're going to have of them, but they take a couple of years to grow, so they're great to plant down at the start and kind of reap the benefits later. Um, Hunting cabins aren't as good as they sound, but they are good later on in the game for getting different things. Herbalists, the same thing, they're great later on too as a basic medic health thing, which later on I didn't even use them. You want your well, we want one of these. Let's put that down. Oops, bit easy. I haven't played this for a while. And it is R and T to rotate, which I just forgot. I haven't played this for quite a while. R and T, there we go. So we want to make this wood pile straight away because you want to have your winter. Winter is going to come. Winter is coming. And as much as you want to hold that off, it's going to come, and there's nothing you can do about it. So basically, if you want to make a big population, essentially just you want to make, what I try to do is as my town gets a little bit bigger, I want to have about over 10 kids, always in over 10 students. Now that's just so what happens is regularly they die of old age, and that is another killer. A lot of people think, oh, just start off slow, but they do die of old age, not necessarily of any other reason. And that's my main problem when I'm playing this game, is that they die really quickly. Everything up here, did I say a herbalist? This one isn't a herbalist, this is a gatherer's hut, which are pretty useless. Well, they're useful at the start, but it's kind of up to you how you want to play it. A forester's lodge is useless at the start because everyone chops down trees and all your resources at the moment. So again, that's the same with. So you want to make sure this is always up here, this thing in the corner. It's very useful. The next thing that's also very useful is your jobs. Make sure everyone has their jobs. And you can see here, that's how many you need to do the job. That's how many they want as a recommended number of available jobs. But you don't need to do that. I would normally put maybe 2. And labourers are very useful, but later on in the game, everyone kind of does everything anyway. So as we go on, I'll just have a go at this, come back to you in a minute, and I'll explain a few more things. Okay, I've just come back. You can see they're underway. I've chopped down, I'm getting a few things. I'm clearing out the area. I've set it down. The fishing is done. I've put here 4 fish, so fishermen. If I am struggling with people, I can put this number down. That can get rid of any annoying things that are going to be. And then you've got your, well, I've got 3 builders at the moment just building while everyone else is chopping stuff down. I have my peppers, which I also have potatoes, which your seeds grow differently. I have decided that my placement is going to be across the river. Now the reason why I do it across the river, it's just easier to divide things and people know where to go. I don't know if that's particularly anything big benefit, but I do it. I make it across the road. Also, they get a bit more room. I can expand how I want to, and there's no buildings in the way. So I keep it also away from my building, and I'll put a storehouse and a stockpile later on. Now, placing everything in the right spot is the most important thing. It's planning, and that's why I zoomed out at the start and had a look at where everything was, because I need flat bits of land. If you play mountainous, you're in big trouble. I always play valley. Gives you little mountains, and it works very well. I might eventually have to build a farm down here, and I might have to make the city expand up here. Now the city isn't that big. It does get pretty big, but it'll probably expand to this size before I have 100 people. It won't get any bigger than that. So that's why I always make it, I give my town a lot of room, because I've got a plan off at the start. I give them enough room to make a big town. The farms go off to the sides, different things go off to the sides, so everyone can kind of, so I'm not running along a side here where then they all have to walk forever for it. Everything surrounds the city. Now eventually I'll have to make a city that goes a bit further, and like another city maybe somewhere else, and that might be something. I haven't really got to that yet. At the moment I've got a city of about 100 people, but yeah. So anyway, I'll get to it and I'll come back to you. Okay, as you can see here now, I am getting underway. At the moment, I don't have enough people for how much food I am using. I'm trying to get. So what the aim is now to make it so that there is just one person on each thing at the moment. The problem with doing this, you have to watch out, is that when you do lower the amount of people on jobs, they won't harvest it quickly. So just making sure that there's at least one person, on it at a time is always beneficial. So let's just have a look what else I've done. I've built my fishing thing, which at the moment I'm struggling on 200 food, which isn't that bad. I'm actually doing really well at the start off, and I've made myself enough food. My cows are running wild. I needed to make it a bit bigger, but I didn't end up doing that. I also, as you can see here, I built a stockpile here straight from the start, but now I'm able to just quickly clear the land. That's exactly what I wanted to do. I accidentally made a second pathway up here, so I just ran with it, went with another one. It looks kind of nice, you know, kind of nice. And I've built I've built 2 farms, and I'm gonna build 2 trees, and that should hold me up until until at least these guys have grown into big youngins. But I've also put a school in, so I will get less workers as quick, but I will get productive workers. So every worker that I have at the moment should have been very productive and had gone to an education. But these guys won't, so you'll start finding that everything you were doing is going to just get worse and worse, and they're going to get slower and slower. Also, you'll notice in the winter, they do slow right down. They don't do as much work, so that's why you need to make sure you have enough clothing, and as this clothing goes, they will slow down a bit more. I have lots of this. I decided to build an extra house because every house you build, a family will move in, or 2 people will move in, and then they will start having more children. So it's like it increases the rate of how many children you have. And as I said before, above 10 is always a great amount. So always have above 10 children coming along, because as I said, you'll have a mass extinction of these 14 people, and you'll have no one to work for you, and then they will die because they're children and they can't do anything at the moment. So yes, this is, so you can kind of see now why I have structurally laid out my city like this, because I can now expand all the way up here and have no problems. Before I had a smaller farm and it did have problems. I'll have a lot of room up here, and I'll probably make some mines and different things down here, like a woodcutter maybe. We'll go down a bit further, and yeah. Okay, I'd just like to show you a town that I made earlier. As you can see here, it's got quite a number of people, students rolling through. Children are low as part of my standards, so I've made a heck of a lot of buildings. So I started off here. I'll just explain how this went. I started off with chickens, and as I said, if you can keep restarting and starting until you get chickens, that's probably your best bet, because they give you eggs, and at the start you need food and you need it fast, and crops just won't do it. Docks, yeah, I've made an extra dock here. I've just had to go and try very hard to do all these things. A lot of it's been a struggle, but it's basically a matter of making sure through winter your farms are going crazy and you're able to get enough, what can I say, you're able to get enough food until you're able to supply and add the things that you need. It's like kind of, you want the bare basics. I started just making stone houses because my wood was going crazy. I'm actually at my max food, so I might increase that by 500 or something. Now, yes, I know you want food, so why put it at max? But you also want to make sure everyone is doing the correct job that they are supposed to do. You don't want them, if you've got as much food as you need, you don't want them to be doing food if there's nothing they can do. Like if you've got too much food, you can also lose out on other areas, such as stone, which does become a bit more valuable, wood, which is very valuable later on, and as you can see here, I've only got 200, but I have 300 logs. So what I've done is, my basic setup was, it started up here, and I was able to, and I was able to slowly build out and put my docks here. Now, I would build 2 of them as a recommendation at the start, even though you don't have as many people. And I got my 2 schools here, my church, my main city, which you get nomads. Also, what I've done here is, because I have so many chickens, I've put them up for sale, so when someone comes in and I need that. Okay, I'd just like to show you a town that I made earlier. As you can see here, it's got quite a number of people, students rolling through. Children are low as part of my standards, so I've made a heck of a lot of buildings. So I started off here, I'll just explain how this went. I started off with chickens, and as I said, if you can keep restarting and starting and starting until you get chickens, that's probably your best bet, because they give you eggs, and at the start you need food and you need it fast, and crops just won't do it. Um, Docks, yeah, I've made an extra dock here. I've just had to go and try very hard to do all these things. A lot of it's been a struggle, but it's basically a matter of making sure through winter your farms are going crazy and you're able to get enough, what can I say, you're able to get enough food until you're able to supply and add the things that you need. It's like kind of, you want the bare basics. I started just making stone houses because my wood was going crazy. I'm actually at my max food, so I might increase that by 500 or something. Now, yes, I know you want food, so why put it at max? But you also want to make sure everyone is doing the correct job that they are supposed to do. You don't want them, if they're if you've got as much food as you need, you don't want them to be doing food if there's nothing they can do. Like if you've got too much food, you can also lose out on other areas, such as stone, which does become a bit more valuable, wood, which is very valuable later on, and as you can see here, I've only got 200, but I have 300 logs. So what I've done is my basic setup was it started up here, and I was able to, here actually, and I was able to slowly build out and put my docks here. Now I would build two of them as a recommendation at the start, even though you don't have as many people. And I got my two schools here, my church, not my church, my main city, which you get nomads. Also what I've done here is, because I have so many chickens, I've put them up for sale, so when someone comes in and I need that, yeah, so when someone comes in and wants to trade with me, I have a bit of something to trade with them. I also put my steel tools because I use a lot of them, but I also get a lot of them, and my woolen coats because they're very fast to make, especially if you get sheep. And I did end up getting sheep after my chickens, and they're very good for that. As you can see here, I'm preparing for new buildings, and they're all stone. Now, why would I make all stone when I've got these wooden ones here, and they're just as good? They keep them as warmer. So they use less logs, and there in turn I don't have to cut down as many trees, so I don't have to use as many people to get into the wood chopping. Now these guys, I've got one set here. I built two because one's set to plant, one's set to cut, and I can just put them up and down as I feel like the forest's lodge needs them. I'm in the motions to about to expand into a different, get another wood chopping area, purely because I'm struggling with that much wood. As you can see there, they're chopping down almost as many trees as they're able to plant up and grow, but that could change very soon. I have three wood loggers, because what happens is, even though I only need probably two, in the winter, if I've accidentally, because I take them off and on as they max out, and then in winter I'll stock them all up, I have to stack an extra person into it. And so it's always better to have one extra than one less wood chopper, and then fighting for the winter, and then you'll go down and everyone will freeze to death. I have my stone pit here, which admittedly it's probably too close to my main city, and I didn't know I'd expand that far, so I started expanding a bit lower. I put my farms across the river. Yes, I love putting them across the river, don't I? But across the river is just an easy way to divide it off and say, here, that's it, that's what I got, this is where I'm going. I put my sheep up here, which I do. I was going to trade, but you can't trade sheep, you can only trade chickens, which is frustrating, but yeah. My fruit here, I've got to make sure I have enough people on them. You know, I have 48 farmers, so I got to have enough people to, and what I was finding is in the winter they'd still be harvesting, and wouldn't have enough people to harvest them all down, so they actually ended up losing half of my stuff that I reap, and that's how I was struggling as well. So I had to make sure I had 4 people for the bigger farms, and that's just what happens. The market is great for just sending different things around, and everyone can enjoy that. I had to expand my farm a bit further because, as you saw in the first city that I did, I had a great area, and this is how big my farm expanded to, and I can go up a bit further here, but it was starting to get a bit far from the town, and I prefer them to be a bit as close as possible, so I had to expand them up to here. and I did make another wood chopping thing, but I didn't find that area was good, so I'll have to change that. I do have a few stone paths on the main areas, but they take a long time to do, because stone is a very valuable thing. Yeah, so this is also what I've done here with the mines, is I've made one mine iron, one mine coal, and I've tried to split them 50-50, because iron and coal, as you know, make steel tools, which are very valuable for trading, and I want as many seeds as I can get. At the moment, where do I find the seeds again? I have all these things. I have gained since I've started the beans, the sheep, the pepper, the cherries, and I think I've gained the corn. So I've done quite well, and I've got pretty far in it. And as you can see here, there's the nomads. They're very handy every now and then, and that's how I've boosted my population by about 20, maybe even 30. You get 14 at a time sometimes. My church is always going, and it keeps them very happy. I have Yeah, and I've worked it out. So if you'd like anything, I've kind of worked out the easy mode. I haven't done hard, and admittedly, it's probably going to be that much more difficult. And I would say give it a go. But first of all, try this, and I think I've got this one down pat, and I think I've done pretty well. And I'll probably eventually go into difficult, but I'm just having fun here, just enjoying this one. And if that's all that really matters, that's what games are about, enjoying them and having fun. And that's what I'm doing. I'm having fun playing the easy difficulty with no disasters on in the valley, which is probably the easiest settings if you want to start out. I've also made a hunter over here just to see how that goes, but I don't think they're very good. I think hunters are probably the worst. And also another tip, don't rely on clearing um, uh, don't rely on clearing the trees as part of your wood chopping, because eventually you don't have enough labourers, and the labourers don't want to do it. Same with stone, same with iron. So you're going to have to get a stone maker and an iron, because eventually they don't chop down at your free will, and you'll run out of wood very soon. And that's a major thing for the wood, but the iron and the stone not so much. So yeah, this is a very good game. It's kind of like No Moria, kind of like, I think it's Towns is the other one, and they're indie games that have been released as well. So if you like this game, go check out No Moria, check out Banished, see how you go with them. And if you need any help, this is kind of like one of those micromanaged towns that that it's a very difficult game. I think it's probably one of the hardest games, and I like a challenge. That's exactly what I'm doing here. I like challenges, and I'll keep going. I'll see if I can expand my city, and maybe if you want anything, I can show you how I've got with my city. I play like an hour every now and then and just have a go at it, and try not to lose I don't save until the end. I let my auto saves do the job, but because often you'll find you'll stuff up and you don't want to do that. So I save a new one, and I can go back to each different hour I've played each segment. So if you want to let's play even, I can start off with a town, and we can have a go at that. But basically, this is how to play Banished. If you want any tips or hints, any more things, if you've got any tips or hints for me, I'm not a professional. Let me know, and I'll either put a video on it, or if you can give me any hints, that'd be even better. If I've missed something, if you have a question, I can write them in the comments. I can respond to you there. And yeah, basically just help you out with Banished and help you out. I have a video of Star Sector coming out. Should be out pretty much straight away. They're both coming out around about the same time. I filmed them back to back, so I'll release that soon, or I'll release that first. I'm not sure which one's coming out first yet. I got to decide that. Yeah. So if you like that, let me know. And have a good afternoon, and enjoy.